This is the Come Up Collective.
It's a nice day to go and kill some ops in the blackout. Nice day to go and do some drugs, bring the sides out. Nice day to kill a couple ops in the blackout. Nice day to get a couple drugs, bring the sides out. Shorty 5'4", but a neck about 6'5". She gon' do whatever just so she could get a quick high. Run up on the gang, pussy nigga, then you fish fry. Call me fishing man, cause a nigga got the I bought a shooter with me now. I won't fight you. She like what she sees, she wanna bite. Like I hide you, and I got some neighbors in the cloud. I'm a hot dude, like a magazine, they looking copy shit that I do. That shit that you callin' drip, I wore that shit in high school. We used to play that corner store, now I ain't got the time at all. Brody said he got the work, and you could come and cop it all. Niggas think they poppin' perks, but really is just Tylenol. How the fuck he catch a case? How the fuck he drop the ball? I just shrug my shoulders, told the officer I'm not involved. I got bands in the cut, I got bands in the cut. I got bread, bitch, what's up? I got bread, bitch, what's up? Got that thing, keep it tough. Got that, keep it tough. I see Irv, holla up, check that sauce when I walk. It's a nice day to go and kill some ops in the blackout. Nice day to go and do some drugs, bring the sides out. Nice day to kill a couple ops in the blackout. Nice day to get a couple drugs, bring the sides out. Shorty 5'4", but a neck about 6'5". She gon' do whatever just so she could get a quick high. Run up on the gang, pussy nigga, then you fish fry. Call me fishing man, cause a nigga got the big rise.
Alright, y'all, that was, you feel me? That Nice Day by Hot Serve.
Yes, sir.
That drum was hard. My son Hossie, man, he be putting in work, I ain't gonna lie to you.
You really do. Y'all probably heard his music last season. I think we played 2 of them.
Facts.
Smooth operator.
That's my favorite.
Operator, yeah. Smooth operator.
Still
Yeah,
could put in
smooth
work.
operator, yeah. That joint go
That
hard.
was fire.
Yeah, truly. He had a big weekend.
He did. He definitely did. My son was in Times Square with it. Had his billboard up in Times Square. So
That's fire.
big shout out to Haas. Let me drop the, you feel me, the applause. I think this is the applause. That's not the applause. Oh man, that's tough. Which one's the applause? You see, this is why you keep list, kids. You feel me? This is the applause. Yeah. Yeah. You feel me?
They gotta be pretty
Keep
cool to
being
see
great.
yourself up there.
Yeah. Big shout out to that, man. You feel me? For that tremendous weekend. Sorry I couldn't make it out. You feel me? Had to do homework.
Not the public apology.
But yeah, definitely.
Homework. Nah, Sunday y'all were a little lit.
Oh yeah. That's a fact. Sunday we was.
Now, how was that? What y'all get up to? How y'all
Word.
been? How y'all feeling?
Sunday was
How
a
was
good
it?
time,
It
bro.
was solid, man.
One of our friends, good old friend of ours. I feel like we all met him at different times in our life, but he had a little Darty. And his, cause my friends are rich now.
Darty day
Niggas live
party.
on Wall Street. Had this Wall Street roof.
Fight eye, if you will.
Yes. You know the views too, where you can see every side. Not even like it's like a roof where you get to see one side of the view. You could walk around it and see. There was like white people tanning. Like it was rich up there.
Facts.
It was nice. It was fire.
It was wild standing next to Shaq. Shaq being like, wow.
For real.
Lived in the city my whole life and
Facts.
never seen anything like
the
this
view from
before.
this point.
Big
Oof.
facts.
That's wild.
Nah, it was a fire up there, man. Darty, a bunch of friends. I think we're just trying to start our summer litness up. I think that's what it is.
Wait, Shaq, where exactly are we during the summer?
Oh, you know where we at.
Hello? Where we at? Oh,
Yeah.
you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Come on, y'all. You know where we at with it. Like, you feel me? We outside with it, man.
Yeah, it's valid.
Facts.
Yeah, it's interesting to get back to like normal social life and like realizing like how much effort it is to be social.
Yeah.
Like especially in groups.
Big facts.
I'm waiting to see the miscommunications too. Like people, I know folks just forgot how to meet new people, how to have conversation. I'm excited to see how that that shakes out for sure.
You probably felt it. Have you felt it yet?
No,
I feel
definitely
I
have. Felt it
before
for
talking to
myself.
somebody.
I'd be like, hey, doing you? I'm so sorry. Hey, how you doing? My name's Gary.
I'm crying. They hit you with the.
What did you say?
I'm like, what? What is this guy talking about? Like, I'm crying,
man.
son. But like, you feel me? Oh, I forgot to even do the little intro joint. Welcome back to the
yeah.
CCG. What's good, y'all? Welcome
Didn't
back,
forget about
welcome
y'all.
back.
Nah, I hit that shit.
You feel me? Welcome back to the Come Collective Podcast. You feel me?
Episode 3.
Yes, sir.
Trois.
Tres, excuse me. I guess I was a little mixed and Haitian. But you know, the CCP is a platform for POCs to express themselves as they chase that BAG. All in the pursuit of happiness, health, and of course, wealth, man. Y'all know we need a money sign. Cha-ching, cha-ching, we need one. I'm gonna get that sound effect next time.
It'll
for
be
real.
in the post. It'll come in post.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess we could, but
Facts.
no, welcome back. Thank you all for all the support for the first two episodes. It's been,
The messages make you feel so good, don't they?
they really do.
Oh man.
Remind you that you're talking about something real.
Right? You're not just talking to a camera.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like we just talking, we just kicking it.
We are too. That's facts.
I
Yeah,
feel like that is the vibe also.
Yeah.
yeah. At least
This is
we try
good
to get
therapy
there.
right here.
For real.
Speaking of therapy, guys. On the transition.
I was like, don't do that, man. Don't do that,
Nah,
man.
that is so funny. That is so funny.
Wow.
Well, this is our last episode before the end of Mental Health Awareness Month, which
What
is
an
May.
important
which is
month.
May. So it is a well-timed conversation. It's well-timed. But before we get there, I mean, the really good thing that me and Gary got to do over the weekend that like felt really good, like put me in high spirits. Like I'm feeling my auras nice. Like I'm
Your
in
clothes looking nice.
chakras in line. I must have got some crisp. You see me in the Birkenstock.
Yeah.
Lift the
It
socks.
up, bro.
Yeah.
The stocks with
That's some regular black and white.
Come on, you know I'm feeling good.
Sons
But no,
is
we was
fresh.
coming off that retail therapy. Actually, this is the whole new outfit.
Wow.
A
Quality.
drip.
I didn't even notice that the Apple Watch band matches the
Oh, yeah,
pants.
you know I got the
Matches the skin.
He getting too much money. Too much money, son. Nah, I gotta drop the funk flex bomb. Too much money.
Cause I don't shop often, so I always like run out of like especially when seasons change. Like I had to buy stuff for winter, and then when now winter's over, summer's coming up. I'm like, dang man, it's getting hot. It's getting too hot for what I got. So I was waiting for such a long time, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely need to go shopping. So we finally went out, dropped a bag.
Not gonna hold you. We went to Kith first. Kith can kiff my ass. that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
What was bad
Most
about the
affordable
experience?
thing in there was a cereal.
Yeah, the cereal and the ice cream. I know which cafe I went to.
That's hilarious.
I think it looked like a Dominican cafe. They had a little window on the outside. You
Yeah.
could walk by, pick
Be
up
my
your
little
cereal.
Bobby. Which one you want? Frosted, cornflake,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Damn, yo.
Hey, good job, dude. I mean, we walked out of there with something. I had the bag,
Yeah, we got the shoes.
socks.
That's hilarious. 40 pair. Whoa. $40 pair of socks.
Oh, I thought you got a 40 ball. I'm like,
You got
damn.
the one right now?
Nah, we actually got shoes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get the
Yeah,
socks.
yeah.
My fault. I
Nah,
was
that
like,
was just a
damn,
joke.
bro. You better wear those socks every day. $40.
No.
Yeah, I was telling Makai, like I thought it was so wild. Cause like I feel like in the past, like was, gone in the way of me buying new clothes was obviously like money and just resources in general. Like this time it was just time. Like, we were talking about going to Uniqlo and getting t-shirts for weeks. Like shoes, months. Like man.
So we finally got out there. Felt good. I was in good spirits after. Walking around with a bag.
Oof. No buyer's remorse either, bro. I was like, these are all quality purchases.
My son look like the Soho Sweeties with y'all Zara bags.
Put it over the shoulder.
My son up there London
Oh,
Tipton,
man.
okay?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm crying,
I just
son.
got put on to quality though, so that makes me so good to hear. I just got put on to quality. I just started buying shirts that cost $15 and they have one color. One colored shirts that cost $15. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But they last forever. So
They do last forever.
That's the move,
Uniqlo,
man.
hit us up. We wearing your shit.
yes, sir. If they even
I'll give you a
sponsor people,
sponsorship,
right?
bro. Sponsor post on Instagram. It's whatever. I got you.
It is what it is.
Whatever you need. But no, that felt good, especially in the context of like, what do you do to feel good throughout your day or feel good throughout your week? Having something to kind of lift your spirits and all. Because in this conversation, as we're talking about like mental health and all, like there's so many different aspects of taking care of yourself, take care of your days, and like making sure you could kind of handle yourself. And that's what I think this conversation would be really nice today to talk about, especially because, you know, we have conversations offline all the time about, you know, how you survive down there, because it's such a big aspect of it. So I guess kind of to kick this off, like, why should somebody be aware of mental health?
It's real.
Like, are you guys aware? And then with it, like, is there a first time where you realize, like, oh dang, like, yes, I haven't heard about this a lot in the past, but I think this is something that should be top of mind more often for myself, especially, and more people.
I think when you become aware of mental health, you start understanding how people are actually doing, or you understand when you're not really doing well. Like, I think there are things I've realized that you just gloss over in your life, or like states that people are in that you just never understand till you understand mental health. Like when you just randomly talk to somebody, the old me, high school, you met me, I talked to some random adult and they were like, man, I haven't really felt like getting out of bed. I haven't really felt like going to work. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I wonder why.
You just get up.
Yeah, just get out, make breakfast. Like, I don't know, like do something. And then, but then if you listen to that and you're like, so what did you do? You were just literally in bed. You couldn't get out of bed. You were like this for like weeks, months on end. Dang, like you just assume, like you probably try and blame them. But then once you start learning about mental health, you start learning that things are just out of their control sometimes. Things out of people's control. So you understand people, and then you think about times where you felt that way. And then you realize that, like, dang, like that wasn't a normal emotion. Like it wasn't just, I was in my bag. It was like, ugh, like nah, I was a little depressed. I was a little depressed. And putting a word to it.
Yeah. And to take that a step further, one thing I realized was like not everything is like event driven. Like usually I understand like, oh, you're mad because something happened to you, or you're tired because you spent all day doing something.
Effect, yeah.
But like with mental health, it's more like over a longer period of time where like these feelings or stuff goes on for so long that it starts weighing on you. Like it's not too far from physical health. You know, like you got to take care of your, make sure you're eating right, make sure you're exercising. Else, you know.
Also, if you keep playing on a sprained ankle, like it's not gonna heal. Like,
Exactly.
Similar.
And being more aware of it. So going back, like, do you guys? Because I know the biggest thing about bringing awareness to it is like being able to talk about it, like your experiences with it, and like, you know, beating the stigma basically comes up with, you know, having heard about somebody else having done it. So have you guys like personally taken either formal or kind of informal aspects of like taking care of your mental health or addressing it in an active way?
I think before I jump to that answer, I want to backtrack a little bit with your first question of like, how did you even become aware of it? I think in an immigrant household, like that wasn't a thing. Like, you feel me? Parents was not. If there was somebody who like say was on they had like mental health issues. Yeah, they couldn't get out of bed. They couldn't do anything. Like African household, just like they just lazy.
Or beat you out of bed.
Or you go to church.
Like unmotivated. They got demons. Like somebody in their life is like giving some spiritual attacks to them. That's the type of vibe it really was. It was not really like a, hey, there's more to this, and that like this person can get help for these things. It was like, nah, they crazy. They going through their stuff. That's really it. And like I think that very much affected me and the type of mindset I had regarding mental health for a long time. It just was non-existent. Like, and y'all heard me talk about this throughout college. Like, you just gotta keep yourself busy and just plow through all your issues. For example, the one example I can think of in my high school, there was a shorty who would, like, every time it came around for presentations to give like a group project or something like that, she'd get to the front of the class, she'd start saying the project, and then she like, yo, I can't do this, my anxiety's acting up. And the whole class was like, what? Like, we like youngins from Harlem, like, what are you talking about?
Can you present?
Like she even study. Like, what is she doing? She's capping right now. She did not study. She's baiting OD. Like, that's what we would say. But like, going to college and seeing like real folks like have panic attacks while giving presentations and stuff just because they're not used to public speaking. That was what like really made it real to me, to see like mental health was a real thing. You feel me? And it was a bit tough to continue like validating it, just because my background was telling me like, they capping, this is nothing real, like this ain't serious. But then I'm like, nah, you seeing the toll this is taking on this person. You and this person in the same class, you have not seen them for 4 weeks. Like they cannot get out of bed type vibe, like, you feel me? So I guess that's where I started on the mental health journey. I said it really came to me in college, and it was tough because of my background, like, you know, growing up as an immigrant.
I think to that point too, because it definitely came in college for me too. I think one of the things that we talk a lot about in this class that me and Mom do talk about all the time is like this whole notion of like hierarchy of needs, right? Like before Stanford, I was like, I'm trying to make this bread. I'm trying to make it to college. So that is like, I was like, you feeling bad? You feel like you don't feel like going to school? It's like, nah, there's no option. Like you're trying to get somewhere. Like when you get to Stanford or like a school or to a stable part in life where food taken care of, lodging taken care of, fun realistically taken care of, like all of these different items that, you know what I'm saying, like make you go on, like they're taken care of. All you have to do is to sit with your thoughts. And that is the most that destroyed me. And I'll be very real with you, because you like that's, and then that's, man, I am stumbling on my words today,
preaching
bro.
too, though. That's
I'm stumbling on my words.
That's why.
I'm stumbling on my
Words
words.
is thick right now.
But
Your words are thick.
no, that's good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm not gonna press it. I'm
What
not
did he
gonna press it. I didn't want to press it.
Hey, but going back to it, right? Like,
Yo, I gotta press it.
yo,
I'm so.
This man's insane. Like,
yeah, ma'am. Apparently, my words been doing squats.
Wow.
But what up?
in the
Like,
gym.
Yeah, you were stumbling.
no, yeah, my bad. I was stumbling. You're right. But yeah, just like once all of those, you know, those everyday needs, the needs that you need to literally keep living are like not even a question. Like all you have to do is sit there and like be with your thoughts. And that's something that definitely messed me up, especially when processing just like random trauma. I remember I was just sitting down in class. Someone said some really like it wasn't anything crazy, but just some like out of pocket shit. And I was just like, damn, that kind of reminds me of 4th grade when Lil Tommy had come up to me and asked me that question. Why did he do that? Oh, wait, he thought I was dumb. Why did he think I was dumb? Is this why I'm always trying to be smart in the room? Is this why I feel the need to like speak with like these super eloquent words?
Damn,
Like,
what the?
No, literally. No. That's what
My
I'm saying.
son went through like a damn.
It was just like random stuff like that. But that's why I feel like the mental health help comes in, right? Because there's two ways you could go. You could completely avoid it, or you could just go down the rabbit hole. And you can blow up these little instances and completely mess you up. And that's where like a mental health professional will come in and be like, reel that in, just be like, all right, I see where you're going. I see the type of energy you're trying to put into this, the type of work you're trying to do, type of ground you're trying to make up. But this is not productive. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where the external help. Because I feel like a lot of people, and this is like a very American thing, right? Like self-medicating, self-treating. I got a headache, I'm gonna take a Tylenol. You know what I'm saying? Like my ankle's messed up. You know what? Let me just throw a brace on. It's at CVS like $15. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with mental health until it all piles up and it just completely blows your life up completely.
Oof.
Yeah. A lot of people had to sit with their thoughts when, you know, shelter in place first started. I think that was where mental health started becoming more, would you guys agree? Like very more to the mainstream
Social media.
forefront, of what people are thinking of. Because they, again, had to sit with their thoughts. And thoughts be racing.
Yeah. Remember, I in the sad reality, I remember freshman year, that was our running joke. Like in terms of like, we were like, yo, bro, don't be thinking. Like, I remember my friends, I was like, yo, bro, you start thinking too much. I don't know, bro, don't do it. It's not a good idea. Like, it was unfortunate, but I think somewhere we realized along, like within our jokes, we realized that like thinking was, when you start thinking, you start thinking about your past. Like, I think even the way we were talking, we'd be like, nah, bro, yeah, get on your money. Like, go do your work. Or like, we're always on something. We're always doing something next. Because we realized if we ever stop to think, or like, we actively were like, avoiding CAPS. I think a lot of people you would meet would say they were going to CAPS. So CAPS at Stanford is like basically the mental health facility. Center. And whenever you met someone that was going to CAPS, like honestly, what I told myself, I was like, yo, bro, I gotta avoid them. I don't know why they're going to CAPS.
They go unlock it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know what they've been thinking, but then they're going to CAPS. So I think I know I'm gonna have to avoid those people. But like as I slowly learned more about it, and I was like, whoa, they're like, people are going through it. People stop to think. People are processing. But sometimes also stopping to think sometimes don't work. You see people who crash. People who try and like do work Monday through Friday, then turn up from Friday to Sunday night using like weed, alcohol, just turning up and being lit. And eventually, like one day it just all hits you. And it's just sad to see that happen to so many people.
To take on so much like stimulus that you never have to think.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, like classes, doing something, partying, all of that. And it's crazy because really like when you're supposed to kind of just let your mind like sit, usually like it's towards the future. It's like planning, you know? Like even like the psychological or like the psychology thing is called like default mode network. Where like it's just a part of your brain that just starts planning when you are sitting doing nothing. Like the other day when I was sitting on your porch, I'm sitting on Mamadou's porch the other day. Mamadou walk up, what the hell are you doing? Like my phone's down, my AirPods down. I'm like, bro, I'm sitting, man. I'm being. He's like, what the hell? What you thinking about? I don't know, bro. Like,
In his head, I fly with the stars in the sky. I know I'm trying to survive.
My balcony just breathing. I'm like, yo.
yeah, man. I think it's as a result of me being more mindful. Like I think I've been able to sit with my thoughts a lot easier, you know, and that could have been after some like mental health work. Like I actually even went to CAPS with therapy. I technically went to go get a dog. So,
So I speak the
that
truth.
may not make a lot of sense, but like I went to go get a mental health pass permission so that I could get a dog, but ended up like really enjoying it. I'm like, wow, like to sit with a trained therapist and just talk about yourself. Like usually with conversations, you're like, you know, talking about myself and what about you? You know, you don't do that with a therapist. They're like, bro, what? Like, no, let's go a little bit deeper, a level deeper with that. So I actually like really enjoyed it, but I think I realized like there's a lot that you could do by yourself.
Yeah, it's almost preventative. All that meditation, mindfulness. Oof.
Like maybe even prayer for some people.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
don't-
how a lot of the black community, like traditionally, has coped with like mental health or like with turmoil in their life through prayer. Cause low key, like coming to Stanford, like CAPS, mental health, therapist. In my mind, that was all white people stuff. If I'm being honest, it's like messed up. But that was like the privilege of the rich and the white when their hierarchy of needs were already met, and all they had to do was just think, and they've been thinking since middle school.
My thoughts.
You feel me?
Parents got divorced. I'm like, tough.
Parents never even met.
That's all.
Honestly, like, but you start to understand it more for sure.
Yeah, I think it definitely had to grow on me that like, nah, this is just for everybody. Like, and you're supposed to you're supposed to use this resource, especially us, like our demographic, black people from low income backgrounds. We're literally the most underserved when it comes to this, and yet, you know, we have the biggest stigma against it. Like, nah, we don't want we don't want what y'all selling. We good on this side. Like, we'll substitute it with prayer, or we'll substitute it with food, or we'll substitute it with alcohol abuse, and you know, like drug abuse, as you was mentioning. You feel me? We'll like fry our stimuli. Like, just nah, gotta always keep busy. Gotta have a third, fourth, fifth job because I ain't trying to go through the trauma that I experienced when I was a youngin'. You feel me? So.
Yeah, and then that's the worst thing too, because people will like conflate like good mental health with productivity.
Facts.
Because it's just like, oh man, like he's working, he's on his grind, you know, he's
Yeah.
posting,
Oh,
he's
that's
going
so
out,
true.
all this good stuff. Little do you know, like my man is going home and not sleeping,
Oof. Yeah.
literally just sitting there. Like
Yeah. I think
it's tough.
that was one of my hardest points at Stanford. Like one of my best friends at the time, like literally doing that. I think I had a friend who just constantly, you see him working. It never hit me that I'm like, some point you got to investigate people who are working. Someone's always seemed like they like on it, but then you're like, whoa, you never turn off. You go out with us, whatever. But then one day, I think your mental health collapses. That combined with your trauma, combined with the family stuff you're dealing with back home. At least one of my friends just collapsed and basically like entered a state of, I would just say like psychosis, right? Like just, and I remember seeing him, and that was like one of the first times I ever cried on campus. I was like, oh my God. Like I think that's when it first hit me that mental health was real. I was like, this could affect somebody who like, I was chilling with one day and like making fun of mental health stuff with. Like I was like, nah, these people going crazy. Oh, what the hell? Like that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, it could happen to him. It could happen to me. Like I thought this stuff don't happen to us. But that's when I started taking it seriously. That's when I was like, yeah, this is real stuff.
I also think it came like that age where you're away from home for the first time. You're like 18 to 22.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a prime age where like a lot of it is like a lot of new stuff is falling on you, and you have to handle a lot more. Like not only, I guess, like, you know, if we were on scholarship and all, and haven't been like a full-time Stanford student, all of the lodging and the food was always taken care of. But then you had like the living away from home for the first time. That could have been new. High classes, high rigor at the same time, trying to balance all of it and not really having the skills to have done that before. Like it's a whole lot of learning. So it could really push people to the brink.
Yeah.
And you've seen it. So that's why you should be aware of it.
For real though.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different ways of seeing it. Like, it's not always just like, oh, I can't get out of bed. But it could just be, I don't know, what are some?
Room is messy. I'm
Yeah.
not eating. Eating one was the biggest one for
Biggest
me.
one.
Like wake up, or like not even wake up. It's like sundown. It's like, what did I eat today? I was like, man, I ain't eat. When was the last time I ate? Like that is I feel like that's like the biggest indicator for me.
Yeah, sleep.
Sleep is a real one that people sleep on a lot. Like, no pun intended, but for real, like, people don't realize how important sleep is to their mental. Like, especially when they're in college, I'm supposed to be having 2 hours of sleep in the week. Like that's cool. Like going back to the productivity, that means I'm always working. You've been up for 4 hours, not really doing much. Like you can be sleeping, you feel me, realistically, but like for sleep, a lot of people basically sleep on sleep. I definitely agree with that.
I think you brought up a really good point though, like the whole idea of like sitting idle and that not being like, you know what I'm saying? I think you what was the verbiage that you used earlier, Makai, about peace?
Oh,
Oh, confusing peace for boredom.
Ooh, that's a good throw.
Yeah, if you're not like stressed out, overworking, like you feeling bored, but really that's just peace. The lack of stress. But like history of trauma, you're like, bro, I never lived like this before.
Yeah.
You said do nothing? It's crazy. Everything is going well.
Yeah.
And having been in like I don't know, I at least felt it at Stanford where I was having a lot of hard time with classes and trying to balance side things, where I was like always able to, again, give yourself so much stimulus that you barely have to think. It's just easy to get that way. But you know, when you actually find a balance, being able to, you know, appreciate that and not add so much stuff that you're constantly like, oh, I get really stressed out, and then you drop something and then you find balance and
that's right.
think you found time for something. Like, nah, that time is for you. That you just get.
I think at Stanford, as I guess a piece of advice I would say is like always believe yourself though. If you feel like, if you know you're in a funk, like believe that you're in a funk and like start thinking about why you're in a funk, or if you have the means, go to a therapist, whatever. I remember one piece of mental health that I definitely dealt with in college that I learned about was just anxiety. And that thing it meant nothing to me. That just I was like, anxiety. What even is that? Like that word is abstract. It means nothing. I remember at least at Stanford, that's when at least for me, it would like show up when I would go to exams, and I would literally go to exams, and I just start kind of shaking. I get up, I use the bathroom, I come back, I'm like, I'm tripping, yo. Just sit down, mom. Do your exam. And I'm like, maybe I don't know the answers or something. Maybe I'm just stalling. And I just slowly start realizing. I think it's talking to my friends that I realized I was like, yo, it was legit anxiety. And then talking to more people, I start realizing like I had legitimate reasons to have this anxiety. Like I remember one anxious thought that I would always have was, so I had like this bike on campus that was like essentially for athletes. Like the bike is an electric bike, the Sondors, but a lot of athletes had this bike. So I remember I would bike to class with it, and I'm like, oh damn, everybody think I'm an athlete. There ain't no shame in being an athlete. Being an athlete is dope, cool. Some of the athletes on campus are the smartest people on campus.
You ain't had a foot bag though, so.
Well, yeah, I didn't have the backpack, but I had the zoom. But I remember I literally get to class and I'm like, oh, everyone think I'm an athlete. Oh, everyone think I'm dumb. Or everyone think this. Everyone think this. And I just start thinking about that for like 30 minutes. And I'm into my exam and I'm like thinking about my bike. I'm like, bro, this is not normal. You should not be thinking about your bike. You're in the middle of this class. And I just feel that's a combination of imposter syndrome, combination of stereotype threat. All that leads to anxiety. And all that leads to like you realizing that and then talking about it till you realize you should heal it to do your homework or test or whatever it is.
Now, how'd you heal it? How'd you kind of address that? How have you? Maybe not over, but.
I think it was a slow and steady. I think one, it was asking for help. So I think I legit was like, I have anxiety. And then talk to therapists about it. And they're like, hey, listen, man, if you taking exams, you could like take it with less people. Because one thing that used to freak me out too is I used to think everyone would think that I was cheating. And I used to literally bid, and I'm like, oh, these niggas think I'm cheating right now. Let me make it obvious I'm not cheating. I sit differently. I will write out. And I'm like, what's going through your head, mama? Don't nobody care about you, bro. Like,
Yeah, honestly, they care about the test as much as you do.
They are feeding over that test right now. And I'm like, all right, this is unhealthy. So I asked for help, and I like spoke about it, and I told my story, and I'm like, I'm not used to like being in these kind of environments. I'm not used to these people. I'm not used to going to school with white people. Like that alone, I'm still like, everyone thinks I'm dumb. But they put me in a smaller room with less people. That helped me a whole lot. Combination of going to therapy and talking about it with my friends and putting a name to it and just being like, there's no shame about it. So if you got no shame about it, then like, I think that slowly helped me chip away at the fact that like, and also I realized I'm smart. And I think being reaffirmed after doing well in those separate rooms helped a lot.
It seems like a little bit of acceptance of it as well.
I think that's the biggest one.
It's okay to happen, and it happens to me.
I think that's the biggest piece of advice that it's so small, but like it's so huge. Like I saw it on shout out Miss Brock. I saw it on Miss Brock's story. It was like a therapist TikTok that was like, "Yo, nobody's thinking about you. Stop." Like realistically, and like it sounds harsh and all that, but like for someone like me, I'm a huge overthinker. Enter a space, oh snap! Like I'm the black guy. Like you feel me? Like oh snap! Am I supposed to be here? Do they think you feel me? Or are they thinking it? It's like nah, they don't care. You feel me? They here to get their food and dip too. Like you feel me? And I think for overthinkers a lot, like to calm down with that, really for real. Like breathe, relax, chill. You feel me? Just focus on yourself. Those some tips as well. Like you feel me? I didn't realize I had tested anxiety as well until like way later on. And when I did find out, like I didn't do nothing about it. So I think Mahmoud is a good example of how to act on that because it will definitely change your trajectory when it comes to like, you know, education wise. You can start getting the help that you need, start asking for it and getting in that process of like, there ain't nothing wrong with this. You feel me? Yeah. For me, I'll do like simple stuff I saw online. Yo, I get nervous during tests. Okay, breathe on your thumb. Now like breathe on my thumb. And then at first I thought it was like, what the fuck? Excuse my language. Is the thumb connected to the heart? Like, I'm like, why is this working? Why is this working? But it was just like, you breathe on your thumb slowly. You just slowing down your heart rate. Like you just calm it down. Like you feel me? And that's really was it. And also you probably like breathe out cold air so that like coldness calm you down. Different stuff like that. It's like, all right, you feel me? But it was like surface level stuff and I was never going deeper and beyond. So I never really addressed the issue like of like, why is this all coming up? And I think hearing you say all of that, like that was, you feel me? Exactly what I was going through. But I never had nobody to talk to it about. You feel me? Or let me not say I wasn't taking advantage of the resources available to me. Just because I wasn't used to it yet. You feel me? Like for me, I thought you could be outproductive whenever you were in a, feel me, mental health ditch. Like, I just thought, like, feel me, like, oh, I ain't feeling too well, feeling a little weird. Let me go hoop. I'm gonna go get these youngest 30. Yeah.
That's gonna make me feel better.
Come out, take a shower, then you sit down in your room like, damn, I'm still not feeling well. Oh, you feel me? Still feeling a little antsy. Oh, let me go type out this work, type out this essay. Essay's halfway done. You're like, damn, I'm still not feeling well. Like, let me go to the dining hall. Like, it's just like you trying to always keep active to do something. And like, I think that it hit close to home when it came to family. And I noticed all of my family was like that. Like we were just all, whenever you're feeling in a rut, be productive, do something. You feel me? And that's why you're always getting good grades. He's like, nah, you just got to be productive. You feel me? Anything happens, be productive. And it sucked when it started happening. When family members started like, that wasn't an option anymore. Like productivity was the opposite of what could help them. And then the whole family was just confused. Like, what do you mean? Like, you don't want to be productive? Being productive doesn't help with this issue? How? Like, and it really threw us off. But I think now, after years of talking about it, like we're starting to get better as a family unit. That like, yo, productivity not all the time is the best thing. You feel me? And I think G reminds me of this all the time. Not all the time if somebody comes to you with an issue, you got to talk their ear off and give advice. You could just sit back and listen. You feel me? Listen to let people vent, let people blow off steam. You feel me? Without giving one lick of advice. You feel me? And I think that became huge in our family.
Yeah.
I think the operative word, so I've had these conversations too with fam and stuff like that. And I think a lot about like that notion of productivity, right? I think one of the first things that I had to do, like going to Stanford, and I'll be honest, do keep me honest too, like high school Gary had a heart condition. High school Gary was not taking meds. High school Gary would hide his bag under pill bag under the bed. Like it doesn't exist, out of sight, out of mind. I'm a regular person. And when I got to Stanford, like that was when like stuff started kind of like to pick up. And I had started to notice like, okay, like this is weird. Like I don't feel the same way, all this stuff. And it started manifesting itself in a lot of these like really messed up like health, physical ways. And then what ended up helping me was reorienting and being like, it is productive for me to take my pills. Yeah, I'm not about to go do my my assignment right now, but I won't be able to do the assignment if I'm not going to be here. You know what I'm saying? And that
Assignment
same
won't matter. Assignment
it won't even matter. And I feel like that's an element of it too, right? Like us having this conversation right now, I just told you I had a heart condition. Obviously, nigga, like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Obviously, like taking these medications are so important for your life, but that's the same thing. If you don't take care of mental health, like the same outcome could come about. Right. So it's like it's understanding that the same level of importance, whether or not, you know, you may not be bleeding, right? But it's the same level of importance. I think orienting it towards that and then realizing that, you know, taking those steps, taking more sleep, eating a meal, trying to look for your resources, all this other stuff, that is productive. Because you can't accomplish a task if you're not here. Like that's the whole point.
That's real.
I think I heard in that class it's in like an invisible disability. That's something I would always thought was corny, but then you meet people who have chronic depression. That is an invisible disability. Like that is keeping you disabled from doing things like a lot of your time. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's wild.
How I saw it was you have to like carving out time to recharge. Like like in order to be productive, you have to be able to recharge throughout your day, week, whenever, and like finding time for that. And that could be, you know, sleeping or even playing ball. Like if there is something that takes you out of like away from whatever you deem as productive for even a little bit, get your mind thinking somewhere else and like feed your soul, feed your spirit. You could then come back to it and be just as productive. So if there's days where like I feel in a rut, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna go for a little walk, listen to a podcast or just walk with my earphones out, get some sunlight in me, you know, look at the flowers, stop and look at the flowers, you know, like those are opportunities that I take to recharge, because it was always this like balance, because like some things you have to get done, you know, as much as like you feel bad about it or you're in a rut, you're just like, it could be the cause for your rut, you know, like, you know? Like if there's a big deadline and you're avoiding it, procrastinating on it, like it's because there's like some emotion attached to it where you're scared to actually pick it up. So like addressing that by able recharging, and eventually you're like, okay, this is something important, but now I feel a lot better, you know, because I got to see my friends, I got to get a nice laugh. Let's get into it. And having that balance, like putting opportunities to recharge throughout my days helps me, you know, just consistently be more productive.
It sounds like that consistency comes with like routines, creating good routines for yourself. You feel me? I noticed you talk about like, I know you have like morning routines and stuff that you always do and stuff like that. How does those really impact your?
Really nice. Like the morning is carved out for me. Like I've become a morning person. And by morning, I mean like I'll wake up at 6:30, 6:45.
Oh my gosh.
Got alarms there.
Who's
And my
CEO is
first
he?
like 4 hours is solely for myself. I'll wake up, I'll read, I'll shower, I'll brush my teeth, work out, like cook myself breakfast, like not even be on my phone a lot. I used to have a hard problem with like being on Instagram or like a bad relationship with Instagram. Like I'll wake over and I'll open it up like in the first hour. All throughout the day, I'm gonna be on Instagram. Just like naturally, just no updates, bro. Like, you're looking at stuff from last week, bro. Let it go. You know? And then I run out of Instagram content, switch to Twitter. Run out of Twitter, switch to LinkedIn. Like
LinkedIn when you're desperate. You scroll through LinkedIn.
Just like
Looking for dopamine.
right? So having my morning like carved out for me at least helps me, one, focus on recharging, such as like working out, reading a good book and all, eating, having healthy. And then when it's time for me to be productive, like when work starts, I start in the afternoon. Then I have a phenomenal day. Like today, I was feeling great. Got back in the gym, went for a walk.
Wow.
Read a book. It was really nice. And then after work, I have a ritual of like getting out of the work zone so that like the like work life doesn't bleed into my chill night. You know, turn off, shut down the laptop, put on like a good playlist or something, just vibe out.
Wow. I love that, bro. I remember
Power Ritual is big.
I realized there's so many different ways to do it. So many things sounded corny, like, like sit and ground yourself and let the roots and within you connect to the ground. So much of it sound corny, but if you try it sometimes, you just let it see how it make you feel. Sometimes it actually works. Like there were a few things I always thought was cool. Like going for a walk, I'm like, that's such a waste of time. I'm gonna go for a walk. That's crazy. Like
Where am I going?
Where am I going? Exactly. I know where I live. There's nothing new to see. But then you start like, I think the key is to try different things. Like until you find one that like actually like you just think about it. Like do it, and just literally ask yourself like, how do I feel? Like, do you feel calmer? Do you feel better? Like you kind
Or
of
energized.
Yeah.
a little less stressed. I think I found it in cooking. I like chopping vegetables is therapeutic. Like I don't think if I leave my house and go on a walk, I don't think I'll feel better. But if I like sit there, I cook, I chop some vegetables, I like see food steam or fry in a pan. I'm like, that's just
Hey,
satisfying.
Ratatouille.
I'll take Ratatouille. I was about to go on a complete tangent and say I always wanted to try Ratatouille. I never had it though. I'm kind of curious what it tastes like. You
Try
just-
it? Is it something?
It's-
I'm
it's
not-
the-
Ratatouille's a
Ratatouille's
dish.
the ultimate dish they was making in the movie.
That little rock.
I never watched the movie, so I don't know.
Oh,
You haven't seen
wow.
Ratatouille?
Nah, man. Isn't that a Disney movie?
Yeah. How do you even know about the word? How did you just say
It's
Ratatouille?
Popular.
popular.
Wow, that soundtrack is phenomenal.
Oh wow, I never listened to it. I'm
you watch
excited.
You watched the movie.
I guess I guess I never actively listened to it, but that's funny. My fault, G.
No, you don't gotta apologize to me, man.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we love our tangents.
Yeah, try something.
Try something new. If it makes you feel better, stick with it, man. And even if it sounds corny, even if it sounds out of like your reach, just try it and see how you feel.
Also, really do stick with it. Like,
Yeah.
really, like give it a solid amount of tries.
It takes 30 days.
Yeah, to build a habit.
Mm-hmm.
And track it.
Mm-hmm.
Track your days. Give yourself like a check mark or on a calendar or something every day you do it.
Yeah.
That makes it a visual thing. Like, wow, I don't want to break this streak.
Yeah,
I be doing that with IG and close friends. Just posting like whenever I go to the
yeah,
gym and
with
stuff.
your
I'm just
gym.
like, you know what, day X.
You've been consistent, man.
Yeah. And
Trying.
does the social like contract hold you to it as well? Because now if we don't see you post, we like, oh, Gary, where?
Yeah.
I feel like
the
there. I
gym?
feel like there definitely is an element of that, but I feel like the biggest takeaway, like I said, like taking care of myself has become something productive. Like when I leave it, I feel this is rewarding. I'm like, wow. I'm walking up. I'm like, wow, what an easy walk. Here I am walking up the stairs. Just kidding. I take the elevator, but still,
Yeah, six floors is a lot to go up.
Man.
Any other things, you guys? This is kind of all like kind of self care
How do you take care of
to
yourself?
add on.
Me? Keep it a buck, I don't, if I'm being honest with you.
That's something you want to get better at?
Nah, I mean, yeah, but like, yeah, it's tough for me to like find out ways how, usually, like the only time I've ever seen a therapist in my life was like, under bad conditions, and a friend of ours, Zainab, helped me realize that like you're not supposed to see a therapist when you're going through stuff. Let me not say it like that, because that's what most people do. But like when you're searching and shopping for a therapist, it may not be best to do that while you're. It's not like the opposite advice. You feel me? But like, yeah, that was just her advice to me, and I really agree with it. When you're shopping for a therapist and trying to find somebody you click with, when you're going through stuff, it makes it difficult to connect.
I can see that.
So personally, for me, in my example, like I was about to get fired from my job on campus. Like, you feel me? Like I was an RA, but I was pouring way too much into my students. If folks know me, they know I got huge FOMO. Let me not even say that's what folks know about me, but I got huge FOMO. So that's why I always try to go above and beyond a lot of times. And I'm also, my sister was the one that first called it out. I'm also a huge, big people pleaser. Like anytime somebody needs something done, yo, what's up? Like, what's the word? I'm with it. You feel me? Like, I can help you out in any way. So with me, especially as becoming an RA of the dorm that I love so much, that gave me such a great experience at Stanford, I was like, what I didn't get, I'm gonna make sure these kids get. You feel me? And like, I'm gonna go above and beyond to make sure.
Like 50, 60?
You feel me? So like immediately off rip, like making sure to drive kids to like SF, you feel me? Like if they want to go to a concert, I got you. You feel me? Or we need this, we don't go off campus, I got you. Like, and of course that wasn't, to me, none of that stuff was negative, but it just was, after a while, it was distracting me from doing my work. And it was like, it was very draining, and I just didn't want to see it like that. I was like, nah, I'm gonna be up till 4 a.m. every night talking to these kids, because that's how my freshman year was. You feel me? I'm gonna make sure these kids feel me, get all the advice, get all the love they need. And I think that it was great, but after a while, once again, it was hard to balance. And we already talked about balance. It's not just holding two things and, juggling. After a while, it was like, you're doing a bad job as a juggler. Everything falling down right now. You feel me?
You got a new circus.
Exactly. My boss was like, yo, like, you need to see a therapist. You got to, like, as a requirement of a ways to start getting better. You feel me? And I started seeing a therapist and it just didn't work. I'm not gonna lie. Had like 4 meetings. I was even like, I'm gonna go with the black woman because, feel me, black woman, like, that's gonna be dope for me. I got there. What's up? Hey, so what you going through? I don't know. Like, I just did not want to talk at all. Like, whenever something would get pressed, like an issue would get pressed, go more deeper into that. Nah. And I'm so used to as exactly what Makai would do. So what about you? Like, you feel me? Like, this is not what this is about. I'm like, well, I ain't got nothing else to share. Like, you feel me?
You want some time back?
Exactly. Like, so it became very difficult for me, and like it became very counterproductive. So I think the 4th meeting, it was just like, yo, like we can't continue with this if you're not gonna open up. I was just like, all right. Did I do my time? That's how I saw it as. I saw it as time. Like, a requirement, you feel me? For almost like a prison sentence, you feel me? You need this to get like a good, you feel me?
Yeah, you'll be cured if you go to therapy 6 times.
Exactly.
Right?
So that's why I saw it as. I'm like, all right, I did my time. I'm out here, you feel me? For me, more than anything, this is therapy. This was what I really needed because we started around the same time. I was going through the same stuff. And coming with the boys every day, chopping it up, you feel me? Like, that was something that made me relax, calm down. I'm not spending this time doing an assignment, but you know what? This is productive to me. I'm happy in this moment.
Fun.
You feel me? And fun to me. Like, you feel me? And I really appreciated this space more than any therapist or any like structure like that. But I do understand that a therapist is extremely important. But like, I don't know, it's just difficult. And I feel like there's just a trope in general of like black men who struggle with sharing their emotions just because, the way people were raised and stuff like that. And I want to give a good-hearted effort to work towards it, but I also want to be realistic with myself. I don't want to be telling folks, I'm going to start seeing a therapist when I know, nah. Like, you feel me?
I respect that. I think not all therapists are built the same, and also I don't think you should go to therapy until you're ready also. Like, there has to be a point of, it depends on what mental you think you're going through, but I would say for most things, like, when you're ready has to meet therapy. I remember also the first time I met a therapist, I didn't like her. Like, I didn't like her, and she was cool. She was this black lady, kind of could relate to me. But she was too therapist for me. Like, she was like, she had a little tea, and she would be like, let's get deeper into that. And I could hear.
Ding. He said some get out shit. He said some get out.
Nah, bro.
Cry now. Ding.
Like, it started to feel a little condescending. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was like, I get it. Like, I get we in therapy, but you don't gotta make it feel like we in therapy. Like, I can't talk to you when you
was
just
really
acting like
it.
I couldn't get past that. But what ended up helping was a wellness coach. Like, she wasn't a therapist, but she was a wellness coach. She was a life coach. And she was just amazing. Like, she started talking about life as like these pillars that you gotta fill, like in terms of like, you got like, how's your career? How's your money situation? How's your family? How's your friends? How's your love life? How's all of these things? And if these things are out of order, like, I seeing like life from that perspective, like, it started to be more therapy-ish. And y'all are therapy for me. I realized it. The same boat, but yeah.
Yeah, on a friend's tip, I'm always curious on like, how do you know when you could confide in like a friend versus, I think this is something I have to talk to a stranger about. Right? Because your friends are pretty good, like, supportive systems, So like, for me personally, I think I've found a lot of comfort in being able to talk to friends and being able to like handle my own stuff personally. But for, I guess, more personal or intimate details, I do enjoy having like somebody that I don't see regularly that I get to talk about, or having somebody that don't know all of my context like all the time, being able to question something and seeing it in a new light, bringing a new perspective that allowed me to see it through, because that's what they're really there for. They're not there to tell you the answers. They're there to help you think about a situation differently.
Yeah.
Also, in a lot of cases, your support system is the source of your whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
And having that outside perspective gives you an opportunity to bounce that off of someone.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there, and what's the word? Gaslighted myself about how it was that I was feeling, because I was like, why would I feel this way if these are people that, what I'm saying, like my chosen family or my birth family, all this good stuff. But yeah, one thing you said though really got to me, man. Like, I really free. I'm gonna say it, free niggas from the shackles of corniness and like the notion of corniness, because
that's very real.
Like that's wild.
It's vague
That's
and
why
all encompassing sometimes, and it means nothing.
it means absolutely
Not
nothing.
cool for nothing. Like
What was the corniness aspect?
I don't know, because when you were saying
like
with the
grounded.
tea,
At first,
Yeah.
like the tea, people who
Yeah.
ground themselves, people who got like
chakras and all that
all
other
that
stuff.
vibes and stuff. I always thought it was corny.
Yeah.
But then like I started meeting more people who did it, and I started loving more people who did it. And I'm like, whoa! Like you start seeing the value add that's
Literally.
adding to their life.
Yeah.
Like these people are calm. Like some of the things they doing is lit. Like these tea stuff sometimes. Like tea calm you down sometimes. And now I'm a
does.
big fan of tea. But yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like when you go out and you go to a like a steakhouse or something, and someone orders like well done. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, you gotta try.
Just
A
try
little more
something
red.
new.
A little more red. A little more red.
No.
See? It's okay.
No,
Some people,
if you
they-
like well done,
everyone's on their
enjoy
own journey.
yourself.
Yeah, I'll be shaking the table.
Enjoy that rubber. Enjoy that
Enjoy
rubber.
the rubber.
And don't choke on it too while you're there, bro.
And I'll say even outside of corniness, it's for me it wasn't like, oh, that's corny. It was more like, oh, that's for white people. So like I learned that's not a good thing to do. Just because you're categorizing people's blackness. Yeah, there's a little fly running around. That's why you see a child.
Low-key.
That's what Gary was catching.
I thought I had it. I'm gonna be honest. But continue. Yes, you were saying white people. Yes,
But
corny.
yeah, you see it like, nah, that's not for us. That's for white people type of.
White people be on this stuff sometimes. I mean, not everything now, but
Crocs is fire.
yeah, Birkenstocks.
Birkenstocks?
we'll take it.
Ooh, Birkenstocks go hard.
Yeah, but I mean, in this case, mental health is onto something. I don't like it's corny, but it's also like the appropriation meditation, like Shavasana and everything. And it's like a white woman doing Indian phrases. And I'm like, yeah, nah, miss me with that.
Are you,
Never
are you
even-
an expert?
You ain't never even
I
been
mean,
to New Delhi.
They
man.
learn, and people do travel to like really take it on.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
sometimes
And,
it's cringy
really
to watch.
Put in hours, but yeah, I don't like hearing it. I don't like the voices and all. So like my meditation is more like I listen to like psychologists or stuff that like bring the psychology aspect into mindfulness.
What's up?
It feels scientific instead of appropriation.
I'm thinking of culture and like mental health. Though, if you notice, every culture has their own way of dealing with mental health already. Though, like every culture, like I even think about my culture in the village. Yeah, there's no psychiatry department, but if you look at people's lifestyles, like it's made to be chill. Like the priorities aren't on what's next. Like you meet anyone in my village, they'll stop and talk to you for like 20, 30 minutes. Like you go to anybody's house, they'll sit down and they'll eat for hours on end and they talk and they relax. If you meet the way the people just live, they sit on their porch and they look out and they just hang out. They just look out and they see grandchildren playing around. Like everyone lives together. Like that lifestyle already like gives itself to like such great mental health that like those are the mental health practices like built into the culture. So like every culture has their way of like practicing mental health. And people will tell you like maybe you're not hanging out with family enough. Like that's big little cultural elements that might signal mental health
Yeah,
problems or
when
solutions.
when we traveled and like met people who like lived on an island, Gary's Island.
Yeah.
They definitely
they are chill,
Chill.
They're really cool.
For
Yeah.
context,
Like a
from
vibe.
12 to 2, you can't go to any establishment because
Oh, wow.
everyone is either at home napping or eating or both.
I think what that would do
Isn't
to
it like
your
that in
mental.
Italy too?
Huh?
Italy too.
I think they just had longer lunch breaks, but it wasn't like in particular, like anything particular. They do close early though. People do value like sleep a lot there.
I remember in France, there's like a 30, 35 hour work week already. So the work week is already small. Like all your major needs are taken care of through your taxes. Like you don't pay for health insurance because you will be taken care of. All that eases you. Like that eases your
And the
mental.
French love vacationing too.
Oh my
like
God,
they
that's
once they turn their joint in, like they last week, they out of there. Like I think their summers are like not longer per se, but they just all the time be
That
traveling.
is very true. Because Colombia does the same thing. There's a, you know how we got like Memorial Day and it's like 3 months and we got like another 3-day weekend. It's a 3-day weekend like every 2-3 weeks.
Everything, see?
Like super,
Yeah.
like es feriado. That's the word. Es feriado. Why? What's the occasion? El sol.
I love that.
What?
Yo.
The sun?
I love that. I love that.
That's kind of the case for all year school. Like imagine if like elementary, middle school, high school, that was all year, but like you'll have, 2-week breaks every month.
Mm.
Like instead of one big summer
Oh,
break
I
chunk,
see.
Yeah.
you chunk it up
Interesting.
throughout the year. And it not only keeps you engaged throughout the whole year, but it gives you these breaks.
Teachers
Yeah.
probably love that.
I feel like the alternate having us work really hard for 10 weeks talking about the quarter system and
quarter
then get a
system.
week break. Like we, push ourselves to the brink and then we live for vacation, and then you back to it.
Vacation
And
is
doing
never
it
long
again.
enough.
That's the American.
Yeah, American. I mean, it's like that with full time too, or at least like that's how I use full time. I work, pretty consistent. Well, I mean, I feel like I have a good balance throughout the case, but then using vacation as like, okay, this is my self care times. Whether that's a day or a segment of them, like appropriately using that to be able to recharge and then come back.
This might be a stretch of a tangent, but I think the more I became aware of mental health I think my mental health is definitely solidified with my politics and like my liberal beliefs and core, like what I want. I'm sure, I don't know if we disagree on some of this stuff, but like that's why I'm a big proponent. Like healthcare for all, big fan of that. Big fan of any type of policy that makes people lives a bit more chill. Like promoting like hard work as like merit, that is dangerous, bro. But then and then if you read any surveys on the happiest countries in the world, they're the most chillest ones. Happiest countries in the world are Costa Rica and Switzerland, and those are like the most like liberal places in terms of like, you have a kid, you're gonna get like 6 months off and the government's gonna take care of it. Yeah, it might sound like to some Republican or some welfare baby, whatever. No, it's like that. Those people end up happier. Like at the end of the day, it's like quality of life. Like that, I think that matters more than how much change you get to keep after you got taxed or whatever.
Yeah.
Health as well.
I think it's tough. It's ingrained in American, like America's known as that country where the grind doesn't stop. We're literally known to be there was like a Ford commercial about it where they were like, no, seriously, and people were like, they talked about this for weeks because it's like, this commercial is the perfect example of why America's struggling. Not struggling, but like why it's in this position right now. It was just a homie. He was in the office like for like 90 hours. He was just grinding. And then the Ford was outside. It was like, this is the way, we take breaks. And he got in the Ford and was happy and relaxed. People were like, yo, he was just like killing himself like earlier, like 30 seconds ago. Like he did not go home. Like you feel me? It really reminds me of like Industry. You feel me? There's a show on HBO called Industry.
movie.
There was a part, like the first episode was crazy because homies was just sleeping in the office, like would not, you feel me, go home just to like always keep up that grind. You feel me? And I'm just once again, not happy about the pandemic and its outcomes and what it's going through, but happy of the restructuring that it's causing in this country, because now companies are starting to take things like, yo, your happiness, your battery, you feel me, your ability to recharge. Okay, maybe we should like slow down a little bit. Give you a 90-hour work week isn't practical, you feel me? And hopefully
90 hours crazy.
OD.
I can't even fathom it.
Bruh.
Well, I can, but like, you know what I mean. I won't be happy.
That's wild, man.
Any last thoughts on mental health?
And we can end with a closer. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health, please consult a therapist
There's also
or a trained professional.
I think it's about to provide a number. I'm not even gonna hold you. I don't see a number up there. So what number is he about to read?
No, but usually when people do that quote, they have a list of mental health therapists. But he just said, therapist.
well,
Ridiculous.
no, you could definitely hit up Crisis Text Line.
Yes.
Crisis Text Line is like a free service. Just Google it. You get connected right away with like a trained counselor that'll help you get like de-escalated. And then also for folks that may have trouble right now accessing mental health help, there's this app platform company, I guess, called Talkspace that has rates as low as $60 a month, which can be a lot. I will be honest. But if you have the means or you can make it happen, like that's definitely like, once again, like mental health, investing in that's productive. You get access to a therapist at all time during the week. You can text them, email them, all this stuff, and then have video chats. And the best part about it is you can, if you're not feeling that one, go back into the hopper, find another one that you might potentially like mess with.
And a quick plug for, I love the app Headspace. Like that one helped me get into mindfulness and the meditation, but in a way I liked. Like I listened to that and I actually feel good. It costs like $10 a year for like students. Really good app. It's like clean, it's concise. It's like you have some stuff for 1 minute, stuff for 5 minutes, stuff for 10 minutes. I think that made me a lot more, tranquilo. It made me a lot more like chill. It made me a lot more aware of my thoughts and when my mind is racing and stuff.
True.
For building up habits, I was a big fan of an app that I actually got on an Instagram. ad called Fabulous Journey. And it's like, it's a really cool experience. Like UI is sensational.
Sensational.
But it'll allow you to like configure it and get these reminders being like, oh, every morning I want to be sure to journal, or I want to make sure I cook myself a full breakfast. And you could kind of track, if you don't have like a calendar on your wall, you could track to see how many days you've kind of been consistent with it. It's really good for habit building. Atomic habits they are. Little by little every day.
I would also suggest journaling. I was looking for what's the name? Ben's like app, but I think he pulled it off the app stores for now. But like journaling, whether it's through an app, whether it's through, you feel me, on a piece of paper, can be also very therapeutic as well. You feel me? Just taking time to do that, write stuff down, document. Like, you feel me? I think it's chill and it's very helpful. You feel me? Yes, sir. Also, another way I benefit, or like another way that helps me out, I'll say podcast. And speaking of podcasts, the Breathing Room podcast.
This is crazy.
Definitely, like, give that a listen. Big shout out to Tiara, Bianca, and Daryl for their podcast, The Breathing Room. Like, I listened. I listened, and I love the episode so much, and it really helped me like think about my health journey, and think critically about it. And I think their advice there was key. Also, seeing them go through their health journeys is very inspiring. It makes you want to, like, dang, I want to start paying attention more to this.
I also feel like the general vibe of that whole podcast is we thought this through. Like the launch, the just the little quotes, the IG. I was like, this is I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in for sure.
Big facts.
Found them on any DSPs. I listen to them on Spotify. All right, and with that, any last thoughts, gentlemen?
Mental health is wealth.
It is.
Do something
You feel me?
for your mental.
Word.
Yeah.
What's the challenge for the week, y'all?
Yeah, so this week, we're going to challenge y'all to write down 5 things that make you relax, make you feel at home, grounded, chakras, all that good stuff. And then just commit to doing one. Just one thing on that list this week.
Uno.
Solamente uno. And if you feel so inclined, tag us. We like to see it happen. We'll try to be a little transparent this week too about some of the steps we're taking.
Absolutely. Feel me?
Indubitably.
So I hope those things that you listed off, those 5 things to call me, will help you relax. You feel me? So we gonna run up with our next track, "Relax" by OK Coleman. You feel me? Big shout out to that man. Big shout out to that man. You feel me? UCLA, hold it down. You already know the vibes.
Up next, okay.
Where did she want me to go? Yeah. All the way. She told me nobody home. Ain't nobody there.
I don't think I'm going for what I'm doing.
She made me feel like
I know what you mean.
I was gonna say journal.
Are you trying to do like an engagement thing?
I'm with the pretty little
I think every week.
Missouri. They hit up on my necklace. I play this smooth, said come correct. Can't let me ride. I came with the extras. Hit it, then left. I'm ambidextrous. She wanna tie me down like the new boy. She wanna see what I'm about, cause she reckless. I do not give
I would challenge people to write down something that makes you calm. Write down 10 things that make you calm. And then write them down. Commit to doing it.
I jump off the porch, they look at me crazy. Whoa.
Do 5.
I won't spin the block, I just want the fade. Whoa, yeah. I'm making it moves, I'm making
Yeah, and then we could
it
just say it after the song.
What can I say? Cause I'm on some play hard shit every day. Holy Ghost, swim in the water like Papa No. Go off and Papa No. So like nah. Really want me to shoot, but she keep trying to run from me. Trying to play smooth when she told me come up. We been busting it down, now she holding me close and say lay on the bed, show me chicken trying like whoa. I'm making it move, making it play. Sometimes they elbow, they say cause I'm on play hard shit. Whoa, they jump up the porch, they look at me crazy. And once me the block, I just shoot the fade. I know they fake, I know they fake. Like say why I must you try, I see I say you hard, but you lying. I act like you missed the wise. God damn, my type is fine. I knew you fake for the photo, fake for the photo. Why you been trying to act like they hard, but they lie? It's because they
like this, man. This is layered.
The God fit the persona, this is thorough. Like a
no vibes for some reason, but I'm loving it.
So most of these up in the back, in the back, packing the packing the knee, packing the G, the piece of the I don't really smoke, but a good purple.
Okay, Coleman, I like that.
Like a dragon, nigga.
I like that. No. Did he say that?